LA is the springboard for a lot of brands, and it's a funny city that everyone kind of watches, because I've lived around the world for projects, Mexico, China, India, Peru, Turkey, Germany, Spain, everywhere. And the one thing they don't have that LA has is this magical it factor.
Paula-Anne Sherron, and welcome to the season premiere of Local to LA. And I'm here with the fabulous Simplicio, Michael, Luis,
Yes.
Holla, the fabulous M. I love it, love it, love it. We've been friends for a long time. I'm so happy that your success, you're just booming. You're coming off of the success from the LA Fashion Week. And then you've also done some overseas shows. Can you tell us about that?
I just came back last week from Amsterdam. And we showed over there to talk to a couple of distributors and to show the line to a whole new audience. It was exciting.
Give us a little bit of a background to start out about how many years you've been in the business and your schooling.
I started by attending the Fashion Institute when I was 18. And from there, got my first job at Carl Kanai when I was 19. Which was a $450 million company at the time. It was the only it was the original urban fashion company. So from that job, I did everything from corporate identity to production checks in Hong Kong, all at the age of 19, 20. And then at 21, 22, I started teaching at FIDM, Fashion and Graphics, and from there just worked for several companies.
You have 4 different lines, and the one I want to talk about today is the eco-friendly line.
The Movement is an eco-friendly designer streetwear line for men and women, and I do an array of products from watches to shoes to sweater knits, denims, shirtings, and even suits. And that's what I featured in LA Fashion Week and in the Netherlands, all with blends of eco-friendly materials like bamboo, charcoal, and a lot of that happens at the factory. So they are my source with all the innovations, and they actually do all the experimentation, and I just visit the factory and see what's new, and I incorporate into my line.
Out of the 4 lines, which one is your best seller?
And the Movement. That's the core line that I feature in every show. And I sprinkle a couple of pieces from MVMT and the other lines, maybe a piece or two, but the core of it is the Movement.
Your signature shirt, it says Love. What are those made out of? The same type of
Yeah,
material?
that's an eco-friendly line. It's recycled cotton, actually. And that whole campaign is to promote love, because again, it's part of the humanitarian movement that I'm trying to promote. So Love More is a simple campaign that I'm pushing.
Now, you've been in the business for quite some time, and you have dressed some great actors, bands. Give us a few of the names of people that you've dressed.
I've dressed a lot of people from Britney Spears, LMFAO, Black Eyed Peas. Currently working with Charlie Sheen, Darius McCrary, anyone and everyone from different genres, Kid Rock. And I did a couple of designs for the Formula One, Ferrari, Porsche, Mercedes, all of the corporate companies in Europe. And from there, I launched my line, The Movement.
And how is it different dressing a celebrity and advising them as opposed to creating a line?
Everyone has their own style and personality and character, and designing for a whole line for someone and styling them are 2 different things, because styling is really dependent on the event that they're going to.
Right.
And the line is more dependent on their character and their personality. And it takes maybe a couple months to a year to develop the line. And styling, we can merchandise with my line in a week or so.
From concept to market, how long does that usually take?
What's
the typical turnaround
Normally
time?
there's a 3-month process You could take as long as 6 months if you're working 2 seasons per year. But everything is moving faster now. So every 3 months normally is the process from design concept to development to sales.
And as far as your patterns, are they made by hand?
They're all made by hand.
All made by
in
hand. Wow. In LA?
Yeah.
By local folks. That's awesome. As far as marketing, do you do any sort of focus groups, or what type of feedback do you use for your marketing?
I think marketing, really, I rely on the shows. That's I kind of get into my cave and let it marinate for a couple months, and then I come out at the shows, showcase my line, get the feedback from that, and take that for the next collection.
And how many shows a year do you do?
Normally, fashion weeks are twice a year, but within those weeks or months, there's a couple of shows in between. Just like, this month was busy. It's a couple of shows overseas and locally.
As far as up and coming, because the show is really about up and coming designers and people that are trying to break out and just up and coming artists in Los Angeles, what would you recommend for someone trying to get into the fashion industry now? Would you recommend that they do take that college path or, trade school path? Or would you recommend that they just really go with their gut and try to network and use that avenue to get into the business?
I think there's never a right or wrong, because life is kind of all blurred. It's not really black and white. And it's kind of fair and perfect that way. For the people that can't afford an education, there's always a way. So there's always stories of people who made it through X, Y, and Z, and it's because they just had their passion.
Right.
So I think school is important in regards to having that discipline and helping you train to get the discipline of getting to the rhythm of attaining your work ethics, etc. But there's always other ways to get that as well.
If you had to recommend one city that was a must go-to city for an up-and-coming designer, whether it's just for an internship or for a summer project or whatnot, what city would it be?
I think LA and New York are still the capitals of fashion when it comes to the US. There are other fashion capitals around the world.
Okay, around the world.
But New York is great for the business and the discipline of it, and LA is great for the networking and the trends, because LA is known for trends. And the last big companies sprouted out of LA. The True Religions, the Ed Hardys, the Juicy Coutures, they're all from LA.
How did you get started in the business after you graduated from school?
I actually started working for Carl Kanai the second year of my college year. So I was already working while I was in college. And I think that's the most important point, is don't wait till you're done with college before you start working, because the experience with the education is what's going to get you the job, not just the education.
Right, and networking, a lot of people. Do you think you will ever get into formal wear for both men and women?
I started fashion because I couldn't find a lot of things in the market for myself. And so a lot of my line is, fortunately or unfortunately, still 70% for men, but I will get into formal gowns and dresses next year.
Do you have any questions for me?
What's your plans for the show in the next 5 years?
Oh my gosh, in the next 5 years, what's my plan for the show? Well, hopefully it's well received.
Yeah.
We have a great lineup this season. Fantastic artists, all local, and hopefully we can return in the fall with another season. That would really be what I would want for this show, and I would like to showcase local talent, in which many times in Los Angeles kind of gets a bad rap. And because it is so competitive, there's not an outlet for people that are kind of in between. We have our A-listers, and then we have people just starting out, but we don't have a show or an outlet for people who are more indie as well, or just need a little bit of a boost for whatever. They need a little bit more exposure, or we need people to really know about them. And like you were telling me on the phone, everyone has a story. Yeah. Right? And everyone's story is unique and different. And LA is filled with tons of talent, and I think that there's just a lot of talent here that's untapped.
That's for sure.
For so many reasons. I mean, just...
And they come from all over the world, so... Right.
They come from all over the world. So I would just really hope that I can showcase those people and get their name out and let people know about them and the real them, and take it from there. Thank you so much for being with us today. And thank you for being our season premiere. Love it, love it, love it. Thank you. Give me a fist bump. Holla! There you go.
Yeah, what you wanna live your life for? If your money don't tower like the iPhone, If the plane ain't chartered, what's the flight for? Man, screw it, shit, I can't do it. It's like having a lawyer that ain't Jewish. Can't put the Mac in a bag that ain't Lewis. Boy from BR, he large, he can't do it. The range got a bluish kind of green color to it.
Won't you take me downtown where the water meets the ocean? Downtown where the water meets the ocean. Downtown, downtown, downtown.
Black hat, Cadillac pearl, Wonderland fam, we rule the world. Who's dude, that's Sean, who's the girl? Waitress slash actress from Calabasas. Bad bitch, got a bad coke habit. 50K underneath the mattress. Ask me how I know where the cash is. One pill left, we laughed in.